Welcome to the Restoration Pros Unplugged podcast. In each episode, we're going to bring you insightful interviews and discussions with top restoration industry leaders. We're also going to delve into their business, the strategies that made them successful, and most importantly, the valuable lessons they've learned along the way. I'm your host, Clinton James. I'm also the Chief Marketing Officer at Water Restoration Marketing. We're a digital marketing agency dedicated to helping restoration companies nationwide secure more high-value water jobs. Now, this show, it aims to provide you with the knowledge and tools you need to excel in the restoration industry. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Welcome to another episode of the Restoration Pros Unplugged podcast. I'm your host, Clinton. I'm also the Chief Marketing Officer with Water Restoration Marketing.
And I'm Bobby Thomas, the co-host, the CEO of Extreme Services.
All right. Bobby, we're going to talk a little bit about social media today because I own a digital marketing agency. We service over 130 restoration companies across the country. A lot of my clients are asking me, hey, how should I be leveraging social media? And I think it's important to utilize social media as a restoration company, but you have to think about how you're utilizing social media and how it's going to deliver the best impact for your restoration business there. So for me, I think social media provides restoration companies with a platform to build trust and credibility with their community, right? They can leverage it as kind of a branding enhancer there, right? So whether it's Facebook or LinkedIn or Instagram or even TikTok for that matter, they can utilize these social media platforms to remind people in their community that they're there. These are the services that they offer and that they can help them in those times of need. Tell me a little bit about your experience, Bobby, with social media.
Social media, be honest with you, man, we don't do a ton of social media, which is kind of unfortunate, but I would agree that I think it is powerful as far as branding, because you can look at the way today's time is. People are driven by followers, right? Everybody is looking to have a following, whether it's you as an individual as a brand, whether it's a company as a brand. So I think social media is, definitely plays an important role in today's space. We've done some Facebook marketing in the past. We didn't really stick to it that long. For me to really give you a precise um, evaluation of how good it worked or how.
Well, let's talk about that. Well, let's talk about that, right? We're going to have honest conversations about what you've done in the past, what's worked, what hasn't worked, what you liked, what you didn't like there. So let's talk a little bit about the different social media platforms there. I'm 45 years old, not as familiar with TikTok as some of the other folks in the digital marketing space. Most of the homeowners and business owners that I know don't frequent TikTok as often as their teenage children do. But I do. Every person that I work with, most of the folks in my personal circle, everybody's on Facebook, everybody's on Instagram, everybody's even on LinkedIn, right? So I think a restoration company, because your target is homeowners and business owners, should at least be visible on those platforms and be trying to build, like you said, build an audience, especially a local audience that they can remind that they provide those services. I also think it becomes an amplifier of the other marketing that you might do out there, right? So somebody sees your brand consistently in their timeline on one of these social media platforms. Maybe they don't think to go to Facebook when they come home to a busted water pipe, but they go to Google and they recognize the company name. They recognize the company logo and they automatically have trust there. So I think it can really be an amplifier of some of the other marketing that you might do online or even offline there. So, Bobby, does Extreme Services have a Facebook page?
Extreme Services does have a Facebook.
All right, so you're part of the way there. Does Extreme Services have a LinkedIn page?
No, we don't have. Well, yes, we do. We do have a LinkedIn page.
Okay. All right. Does Extreme Services have an Instagram page?
We do not.
Okay. Bobby, we're going to talk about getting all three of those set up for you. We're going to give you a game plan and the audience a game plan of what kind of content they should be posting on social media so that they can, again, continue to amplify and build that brand. Now, even if you post on social media, doesn't mean people are going to see it unless they follow you, right? Unless you're paying for ads. And I wouldn't recommend paying for ads for all the services that a restoration company offers. But let's talk a little bit about building that brand and building that audience online. So how many homeowners and business owners would you guess that Extreme Services worked with in 2024?
I mean, if I was to take a guess how many homeowners we worked with in 2024, I mean, solely guessing off the top of my head. We probably did what 300 some
Okay.
3 to 400 customers in 2024.
All right, so that's 3 to 400 people that after you wrapped up that job and you provided
Mhm.
exceptional service and helped them in their time of need, that you could have invited to be part of the audience on these social
Mhm.
media platforms, right? Doesn't matter whether it's for carpet cleaning or air duct cleaning or one of the restoration services that you offer. I know you guys do good work.
Yeah.
You can get good response. So why not invite those people, whether it's through a technician, through a follow-up email, through even a follow-up phone call, encouraging them to not only give you a review, but also follow you on those social media platforms there. And you're
Right.
also collecting their email address when you're doing work for them anyway, right?
Absolutely.
All right. So you can reach out to these people via email. Think about all the customers that you service in a year. Think about all of the homeowners and business owners that you've worked with since you started the business. If you
Mhm.
could get even a fraction of those people to follow your content on social media, it's a constant reminder that you're still there, you're still in the community, you're still actively providing all of those services that you offer there. Okay.
Yeah, to give you perspective too, I mean, if you look at it like this, um, you know, when you watch television, there's a ton of commercials on television, right?
Mhm.
So it's almost the same scenario with social media with you being more localized. They see you, your company, your services on those social media platforms, but you're not paying the whatever the price that they're paying for those ad spaces on television, right? So, because a lot of people, you know, they may watch TV, they may not, but everything is done now where on your telephone, right?
Yep.
So they pick up that
100%.
phone, and you're essentially having the branding just like you would on television.
Yeah. And there's another audience that we didn't even talk about, right? You
Yeah.
definitely want to reach out to folks that you've worked with in the past, but you live in that community. You have friends, you have family members in that community. You should definitely be encouraging those folks to follow you on all the social media platforms. And hey, if they're family or friends, they might even share some of this content, right?
That's good.
And that's what it's all about, right? Because those people also live in the community and they're followed by people that live in that community, and if they follow your content, they share your content, that gives you more exposure to people that aren't
Absolutely.
necessarily familiar with your brand. So those are a couple key ways that you can go about building your audience on social media. There's plenty of like local Facebook groups that are part of the community. You guys should definitely get active in those. I know there's probably like local sports leagues for children and things like that. The
Mhm.
more Extreme Services gets involved in that and shares their content online, just more homeowners and business owners for you guys to get exposure to, okay?
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about what you should be posting on social media, right? The one thing that I love are before and after photos. So
Mm.
you have a whole host of services that you offer, but let's talk about the most impactful ones for before and after photos. The one that comes to mind first, carpet cleaning, right?
Mhm.
You know what a dirty carpet looks like. You know what a clean carpet.
Clean,
Yeah,
absolutely.
putting those before and after pictures, and even if it makes sense, recording one of your technicians in there actually cleaning that carpet, that's great video content, and you can repurpose that content across all of the major social media
Well,
platforms.
you know what? I'm glad you mentioned that, Clint, because that's one of the things that we do. We use a software called Company Cam,
Mhm.
and we have to take before, during, and after photos, not only for carpet cleaning but for insurance jobs, right?
Yeah.
And we take a video for every single job because we work with a particular insurance carrier, Allstate. Allstate requires a pre and post video of mitigation services.
Mhm.
But what the damage looked like before you got started, what it looks like after you finish. So it helps them determine how to write a rebuild estimate based off of the work that you've done. So we have a full library of that, and I would encourage anybody that's in this space, if you're not doing it, definitely get your photographs before and after. So, of course, if you're in the restoration space, you have to have documentation
Sure.
because it's not what you tell the insurance company. It's almost like the court of law. It's what you can prove, not what you can say.
I'll put that. Now, I would encourage though, if you're going to be using pictures or video content from someone's home, create a quick release that you can have that homeowner or that business owner sign off on prior to using any of that content to promote your business on social media. You just don't want to put yourself in a bad situation with a homeowner or
Absolutely.
business owner there. So before and after videos and before and after photos, carpet cleaning, definitely for water restoration, for any of the fire mold remediation, any of that stuff, because you have to capture that information anyway. You've got just a library of it sitting there. So why not
Right.
leverage that and utilize that to create content for social media? Another thing that's super important is educational videos, right? So why does a person need to have their air ducts cleaned on a regular basis? Bobby, if you sat down and you spent 60 to 90 seconds, or maybe it's 2 minutes, right? A quick
Mhm.
educational video on why people should have their deck serviced on a regular basis. That's the kind of content that you can post on there.
Absolutely.
What about mold content? Do you think you could put together a 2 or 3 minute video where you talk a little bit about mold remediation? What people should be looking for, what health concerns that might come up because of.
Absolutely, because there's different types of mold. You can go into the different types of mold, the harm levels of the mold, how to remediate mold, and here's a hint for everybody: bleach does not kill mold. See that microbial? That's grandmama in there telling you, go get that bleach, baby. Go over there.
Bleach doesn't kill COVID and it doesn't kill. That's funny. All right, so yeah, educational videos. Doesn't matter what service it is. Like when winter time is coming, you know it's going to be cold. Old water pipes burst. You can create some videos to share on social media, talking about what you can do to prevent pipe bursts, what you can do to prevent some emergency water damage, things that can happen in your home. There.
Mm,
Last thing I can think of, and this is part of a group that we're part of, Mitigation Excellence.
mm.
One of the things I saw in there that one of the guys was touting was he takes customer testimonial videos when he wraps up a job. Doesn't matter what service it is. He gets a little quick 30, 60-second customer testimonial video and he posts that on social media. That's great social proof. Have you ever thought about doing something like that yourself,
You
Bobby?
know what? I've seen people do that. That's actually a powerful tool. We have not implemented that, but I do believe that's a powerful tool.
Yeah, 100%. Man, I love testimonials, right? I love Google reviews. Video testimonials are awesome because that's, again, we live in a world where everybody's just flipping through social media, and that kind of video testimonial from somebody in the community that you've helped, whether it was for water or fire or mold or air duct cleaning or carpet cleaning services. People like to be on video. Some people
Absolutely.
like to be on video there. So encourage your customers, turn them into advocates for your business with those social media posts there. Now, I'm gonna go back to something you said earlier in the conversation. Consistency is important when you consistency is important when you talk about social media. It's not one of those things that you can do for a few weeks and then I did it. I did social media. That's not the way it works. You have to consistently post on those platforms on a regular basis. You have to consistently ask homeowners and business owners to be a part of your audience on social media. Friends and family members, invite them to be a part of your audience on social media, and then make sure you're continuing to generate content on a regular basis there. Um, I would say if you're not posting at least once a week on each one of these social media platforms, you're definitely not doing enough. Probably should be multiple times, but I know depending on how big of an organization you have, how many hats you're wearing in the business, that might not be something that you can pull off. But the more often that you can post on social media, especially those three things, right? Before and after photos and videos, any educational video content, and then customer testimonials. Man, if you could do one or two of those every month, you'll be great in terms of building your brand and your visibility on social media there. So,
Absolutely.
all right. So now that we've talked about that, Bobby, what are you going to do differently with extreme services? What do you think that you could quickly implement that would improve you guys' branding and improve you guys' reach through social media?
Well, like you said, main thing is getting those testimonials and reviews. I mean, that's going to be huge. Um, like you just indicated before, I think being able to do a video testimonial will be great as well too. And in the posting process, the consistency of that posting process, I think is going to be huge as well too. So I think that's something that we're going to go ahead and dive into and start doing as well.
And it's one of those things that you don't have to be the only one to do it, right? You can
Mhm.
delegate those tasks to somebody else on your team, right? You're actually getting the content. You, the technicians, when they're on a job site, you got to get that content anyway. Use some of your
Absolutely.
front office, the front of house staff to actually take that content and then repurpose it as social media posts there. So, all right, Bobby, I'm glad to hear you've got a game plan. Now, I do want to talk about things that you probably shouldn't be doing on social media,
Mhm.
right? We live in a very charged very charged time for political content. I wouldn't be posting things about your views and your politics on your business's social media page. Not because they're not valid and everybody has a right to think and endorse who they want to endorse, but I also think it's important. You don't want to alienate anybody in your community that might.
You want to stay neutral in that space. Absolutely.
Exactly. You should support local teams, right? Your local sports teams, high school sports teams, local pro or amateur teams there. Those are great things for you to talk about. Anything that's kind of uplifting the community. If there's any community events that you're aware of, repost their content.
Hmm.
It's one of those things, if you start reposting other businesses or other activities, they may do the same with some of the content that you guys are reposting. I also think another undervalued part about having a really good social media brand is when it comes to recruiting. So we all know people that have been impacted by the economy right now that are out there looking for a job, right? And it's hard enough to find good people in the restoration space. But when somebody's evaluating your company versus another company in that market, they may take a quick look at social media.
Absolutely.
See, what does it look like to work with Extreme Services? If they go in and they see this quality work that you're doing through before and after videos, they see content that you're creating with these educational videos, they see video testimonials from folks that you've positively helped in the community. Those are all great signs for a potential employee, right? So look at social media and building that brand as almost a recruiting tool for you as well. Uh,
Absolutely. Yeah.
and don't be afraid to post, hey, we're looking for X, Y, and Z position on your social media page. Somebody might share that with a friend or a family member that might be a good fit for the organization there.
Absolutely. I mean, it lets you know that you're present right there in the community. Absolutely.
100%. Paid ads on social media can be great for some services, right? So like I always tell people, I would not promote emergency water damage through paid ads on social media unless I was in an area that had been impacted by flooding or fire, and you know that all of your competitors don't really have a lot of bandwidth. So people are making calls to restoration companies and being told, okay, 3 weeks out, 4 weeks out, we might be able to come see you. Well, if you have the bandwidth, you know people in that community, you can do targeted stuff on the people in that community to make sure your paid advertising were displayed to those. That's really the only circumstance where I would
Yeah.
think about using paid advertising on social media to promote emergency water or fire services. But
Correct. Yeah.
air duct cleaning, carpet cleaning, those are non-emergency services, and I
Mm.
think those might be a good thing for you to be able to promote through maybe paid ads and social media.
I would
Uh,
agree. Yeah.
yeah, anything like that, and I think there's such a visual component when it comes to a service like carpet cleaning. I think social media is a great place to highlight those services.
Absolutely.
All right, so if you're on here and your business doesn't currently have a social media presence, you should get one. You should set up a Facebook page for your business. You should set up an Instagram page for your business. You should set up a LinkedIn page for your business. And then you should start recording content, right? Those 3 different types of content are always winners: before and after pictures, video testimonials for clients, and then any educational content that you can produce. And then start building that audience, right? You've serviced dozens, hundreds of clients over the last few years. Reach out to those clients, friends, family members, invite them to follow you on social media. Hopefully they might share your content there. Yeah. And then be consistent. The last thing is be consistent.
Mm.
Don't do what Bobby did before, which is start for a little bit and then stop because he got busy with another marketing channel. Because that's what there's will be like Bobby. Is he the It should be like Bobby in other areas, but don't follow his lead when it comes to being consistent with social media there. But that's okay, Bobby. We're going to work on that. You've got some action items from today's podcast that you're going to go and start implementing with Extreme Services, right?
Absolutely.
All right, Bobby. That's what we like to hear. Again, for the audience, thank you guys for listening. If you like what you heard today, please subscribe. The Restoration Pros Unplugged podcast. Myself, Bobby,
Absolutely.
we will be
Make sure you continue to tune in because, like I said, Clayton's going to give you some great information about digital marketing, and we're going to give you some more informative information about the restoration space and other services in the industry. More guests are to come, so you guys are in for a treat. Stay tuned.
Absolutely. More interviews, more insight, and then time spent with other entrepreneurs in the restoration space about how they're just absolutely killing the game. So, Bobby, thank you as always for joining me.
Thank you, Clinton.
All right, for our audience, until you listen again, we want you guys to stay safe, stay dry, and stay busy. Thanks again, Bobby.
Thank you for listening to the Restoration Pros Unplugged podcast. If you like what you heard today, be sure to subscribe, share, and also leave us a 5-star review. We'll be back with more interviews and discussions with restoration industry leaders really soon. In the meantime, if you're a restoration company looking to add more high-value water jobs, you can reach me and my team at waterrestorationmarketing.net. Again, that's waterrestorationmarketing.net. I look forward to hearing from you soon.